Good morning. Welcome to some yoga with Hal here at the Defiance Ruston Senior Center. It's been a number of weeks since we've been doing these videos, and I have to say I actually enjoy coming in and doing it. It's a new experience for me, and from all of you who have been viewing it, I really appreciate your support, even at a distance. So that's why we're here, is to try and help support you with some tools. I'd like to take a moment to introduce Gil and Nancy, who helped me to demonstrate and keep me on track. So today we're going to be talking about several principles using metaphors and also different approaches to stretching the muscles. One of the analogies or a metaphor that is used a lot is that a muscle is like a rubber band. And rubber bands, when they're at rest, have a degree of flexibility, but when at rest, they're never any longer or shorter. When we stretch them, of course, we get more length. And then when we release, pretty much they'll go back to the same length that they were. Now, with a rubber band, if I just keep doing this over and over again, eventually it loses some of its elasticity, and it becomes much longer and doesn't work as well as a rubber band. Muscles are different in that they do stretch like a rubber band, but if we stretch them with awareness and intention over and over again, what happens is some of the fibers, the cells themselves, will separate from each other in just a small amount. That's why some of your muscles get sore, because you're actually doing a slight tearing and producing lactic acid, which can make them sore. But what you also get, as opposed to with a rubber band, is they regrow and you get more and more length. But if you try to do it really, really fast and hard, you're going to tear them in a way that it's going to be very long for them to repair that damage. So you want it to be slow and steady and with a great deal of awareness. So there's no magic solution. We're not going to give you any techniques to suddenly be able to put your palms on the floor in a forward bend if you can't do it right now. But you might get an inch or two closer to the floor without damage and pain. So as always, we're going to start with what's referred to as pratyahara, the voluntary withdrawal of the senses from what has happened before and what you anticipate coming later, drawing away from the chaotic thoughts that we may have and from all the stresses of our daily life. So come into a comfortable, upright position. Let your eyes close if you're comfortable with that. And draw the awareness into the breath to give your mind a focal point. Feel the sensation of the breath coming in through the nose and coming out through the nose. Coming in like a wave, pausing, then gently shifting direction, coming out. Pausing. In, pause. Out, pause. Each breath fuller, deeper, more complete. Feel the expansion that you naturally have with the inhale, the movement to center of the focus on the exhale. Inhale and pause. Exhale and pause. And then very gently and slowly let your eyes open. Good. Bring the arms down by the sides. As you inhale, let your arms float up with the inhale. As you exhale, draw your elbows down, bending them and slightly behind the center of the shoulders. Inhale, reaching up. And this time as you exhale, push the arms out wide and down. Then inhale, reaching forward and up. With your natural exhale, elbows down. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, push the arms out and down. One more time. Good. Then roll your shoulders 2 or 3 times in one direction, 2 or 3 times the other. Good. Interlock the hands over the heart. Now concentrating on moving your shoulder blades apart as you exhale. And let your chin come forward and down. And as you inhale, hands back to the heart, shoulder blades together. Exhale. And inhale. Wrap the arms around as the shoulder blades slide together 2 more times. And then release. And very gently, using your nose, turn the head and draw an M with the nose up to the first peak of an M, slightly forward and down to the center foot, and up to the second peak, down to that third foot, and back again. And one more time in each direction. And then bring your head back to center when you're done. Take your time. Roll the shoulders each way, 2 or 3 times each direction. And come slightly forward on the chair. And now imagine in front of you there's like an exercise ball or a beach ball, and someone gently helps you pull it forward. I'm just illustrating the movement. And what you're going to do is let yourself gently round, and this is one of the few times we round the back and then lengthen. So the difference between this and rounding your back when you bend down is you have more control over how much pressure you put on your discs. So you round to the extent never into any pain, especially if you have disc issues, and then forward. So it's the movement from just below your sternum and back. Very gentle, like a wave, in and out, in and out. Good. Let that be the last one. Interlock the hands, turn the palms out, lift Stretch. If it bothers your shoulders, bend the elbow, but stretch your spine long, especially in the mid-back, and then push out and down. Now that nice length, imagine you can feel the vertebrae like pearls on a string that is stretched slightly, and so there's some space between the vertebrae as you gently exhale from the navel and twist to one side. Inhale, coming back to center. Exhale to the other side. Inhale, back to center. Keep that image of the pearls stretched on the string. And back. And this next time that you come to the first side you did, come in and stay and breathe gently into it. Let yourself twist slightly more if your body will allow it, but don't push into pain. And then inhale back to center. And to the other side. Breathe into it. And back to center. Good. Now bring your feet forward. And as I talked about before, as you come in and out to protect the disc, try not to round your back as you come forward with the exhales, but keep the back relatively flat as you move in and out. Exhale. Inhale back up. Don't push so far ever that you go into pain. Couple more times in and out, and then come down and passively stay. As much forward bend as you can do without pushing into pain. And when you're ready on an inhale, flatten your back, lengthen your spine, and come up. Good. Good. So now coming back to the analogy of the rubber band, when we stretch, we can stretch from two different directions usually. All the muscles always have one place that they attach, that's often called the head, and then the distal, or the furthest point, which they call the foot. Very creative. But what you want to do is get to a position where you're putting some stretch on it, and that can come from either end. So for example, if we're stretching the hamstrings, when you come down and you're keeping your legs straight, more of the stretch is coming from the head, the top part. If you come down and stay, and you bend your knee and then you straighten it, bend the knee and then straighten it, more of the stretch is coming from the foot of the muscle. So that's one of the first and usually safest ways that you can work on a particular muscle. Things you want to be careful for, and that's the stretch we're going to do next. To be careful of with that one, and just to illustrate, if when you're down here you keep flexing your spine or you do it all with your back rounded, then you have the possibility of doing some damage to the discs if you already have some issues there. So let's go ahead and bring one leg forward. Usually we're very clear to make sure that the knee is slightly bent, so you're taking it out of the back. But we're deliberately going to be focusing on that stretch. So straighten the leg as much as you can. Draw the toes to the nose. You may already feel some stretch. And then carefully and gently come down to the point where you're feeling a really good stretch. And then, after a breath, inhale, come up with a flat back. So come in and out. Keep the toes to the nose when you come into it. Come to the point where you're getting a good stretch, wherever that may be, and you don't have to look like any of us up here. Then with a relatively flat back, inhaling and come up. Couple more times like that. Try to keep your chin slightly down so that you're not over-torquing your neck. Stay, couple 3 breaths and come up. And let this next one do one more, and let that be the last. Staying 2 or 3 breaths, then returning to the starting position. And then always don't rush. People breathe at different rates. Bus isn't going to leave without you. And let's bring the other leg forward. Nice long flat spine and forward, toes to the nose to come to the place with a good stretch, and stay for a breath or two, then inhaling, come back up. Few more times, 2 or 3 more. I don't think you ended up doing the same number, but knee relatively straight, but if you're already in the pose right now, don't try to change it. And finish up to the point you feel even. And when you're done, release. Come back to the starting place. So that was stretching in one way. This time what we're going to do is we're going to start with the leg slightly bent. You're going to, and just watch first, come in, and from here, when you found a good stretch, straighten the leg any amount without, and you'll feel more of a stretch, probably lower leg this time, but it's pulling, and try to keep your toes moving towards your nose. Then bend the knee, the back doesn't move, then straighten the leg, bend the knee, straighten the leg. So go ahead, extend one leg, come in with the knee slightly stretched or slightly bent till you're feeling a stretch already. Keep the toes to the nose and then straighten your leg. Then release, bending the knee, straighten, bend and straighten. Couple more times till we're up to about 5 or 6 times. And then straighten the leg and stay 2 or 3 breaths. You breathe at different rates. So after you've held 2 or 3 breaths, go ahead and come back up. And step back, and now to make sure that you lengthen your spine, stretch tall before we change sides. And then release. And change to the other side. Toes to the nose, but knee slightly bent. Come down to wherever you're feeling a stretch already, and then straighten the knee any amount carefully. If you find pain in your back or hip or knee, don't push into it. But do the same about 4, 5, 6 times, whatever you did. And then when you reach that point, go ahead and stay. And when you are finished, release and come back up. And so you're just holding and doing the knee 5 or 6 times. You're not coming in and out at all. And always take your time to finish. And this time, wide elbows like goalposts, and stretch your back up, stretch tall, and push out and down. And we're going to continue doing some stretching on the back of the leg from standing position. Roll the shoulders. A little bit of warm up here. Go ahead. Bring your hands to your heart, palms together. As you inhale, stretch nice and tall. As you exhale, sweep, bend your knees and come down, just like a half squat. Inhale, push into the feet and come up. Exhale, come down, nice long back, flat. Inhale, come up. 2 more times, please, on your own. And when you finish that last one, bring everything back to center. Push the palms out like you're pushing the walls apart and down. Then bring the arms up, elbows bent. As you exhale, let your hips move, gentle twist. Inhale back to the center. Exhale. 3 more times. So let that 4th time, your 4th time, be the last. And when you're all done, bring everything back to center. Shoulder roll, shake everything out a little bit. Good. Now with the feet, so that the knees are under the hips, go ahead and bring one foot forward, the other foot back, and go ahead and let your foot turn out slightly. And you'll notice even from here, there's probably a slight degree of stretch in the back leg. The more you turn the toes forward, the more stretch there will be. The majority of people may feel that in the quads in front, other people feel it in the hamstrings and back. But the important thing is that you feel your balance is solid, so you can have a chair beside you if you need for balance. Now let's go ahead and test out that position on the other side. Start with the foot turned out. Notice the degree of stretch, and then turn the heel And try to find always keep your hips relatively square to the front. And then release, change to the other side. Whatever position gives you the greatest stability and some stretch, then keep your back heel down. Don't lean forward unless your back hurts when you do this. And bend the front knee, keep it from going beyond the center of your foot. Feel some stretch, and then come back out. And then come into it again, in and out. No holding at the moment. And then if you need to get more stretch, next time you come up, try to straighten the foot even more or step the heel back. And about 4 more times, moving in and out. It should be slightly stronger. Good. Now after you've done 4, go ahead and switch sides on your own. And start with the heel. Allow the back foot to turn out any amount, but the heel has to stay down. In and out 4 times. Don't let the knee come beyond the center of your foot. And then make an adjustment where it makes it stronger for you. Heel down, foot back if you need. In and out another 4 times. So we're stretching and releasing, stretching and releasing. If you're feeling a little discomfort, that's good. That probably is showing that you're opening up those muscle fibers, allowing some space for new ones to grow. And then step even. Take a breath or 2. Change sides again. Find a strong position and come into it and stay. And just hold that stretch. About 5 or 6 breaths if you can. And when you've held, judge where you are in your own breath. Release, step the feet even, and then change to the other side. And start with a stretch already, and then come in and stay. Stay about the same amount. And then release. Stretch nice and tall. Fingers to the sky. And release. Shake everything out. Good. Yeah, that's also a nice thing to do. We hold a lot of tension in the soles of our feet, and there's some major connective tissue down there, and that's the source of some fascial pain that people get. But some of that can just be released by bouncing the feet a little bit. I have heard a theory that one of the reasons that kids stamp their feet so much is they're already early on, we've gotten into the thing of clenching our hands and our feet when we feel emotional stress. And on some level, they think besides making a lot of noise and making their point, it's releasing something that they're subconsciously uncomfortable with, which is all that tension. And I find, one of my bad habits is to curl my toes a lot, even beyond some natural things that are happening as I age. All my life, I've held my tension in my feet and my hands. So let's come to a comfortable position from some pranayama, some extension of the breath. And we're going to do a ratio breath. And we're using that same wave function. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. Let's see, what do they call that? Well, sine wave keeps moving. I'm not sure what it is. There's plateaus, but that's going into the weeds. That's how my brain works. But let's come to that comfortable position. And I'm going to suggest a ratio, counting in any way that's comfortable for you. Inhale through the nostrils 4 counts, pause 2 counts, exhale 4 counts, pause 2 counts, like 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, and then 2, and then 4, and then 2. If that feels uncomfortable for you, or you find you're short of breath, or you feel yourself becoming tense, which often happens if we push it too hard, step back. Try like a 3 and 2. Go ahead, if you wish, and close your eyes. If not, just make your eyes really soft, like only half open. And inhale through the nose of 4, pause 2 if you can. Exhale 4, pause 2. Whatever ratio you have, we're not going to increase it today, but ideally you can take that 2-to-1 ratio and make it as long as you want, like 16 and 8 I've heard of, and longer. If you're finding this to be just way too short a ratio, then please go ahead and increase, but try to keep it 2-to-1. Doing all the breathing through the nose. And then let go of the breath. And just breathe fully and deeply. Now, if your eyes are open at all, close them and focus in. And just feel the peace of having a nice, steady breath. And then very gently begin to move the fingers and toes, the arms and legs, the shoulders, the face. Let your head rise, the eyes open. All right. And thank you all for joining today. We'll be back in a couple of weeks.